welcome to Memories of Making Movies, Keep Calm and Be a Superstar, Special Edition Part 3. You may recognize me as that guy who appears in some of the Silver Spleens commentary videos. Today I actually have some video clips that I shot on the set that I wanted to share as part of my experience in Keep Calm and Be a Superstar, a new Hong Kong comedy starring Eason Chan that I have a small part in. In my previous videos I gave some background of the film and how I ended up having a character in it. Today I'll share some experiences and some video I shot of the various sets we filmed in. As mentioned in my last video, the first day we were shooting was actually in Macau on location at the base of the fake Eiffel Tower in front of the Parisian casino in Macau. And the next day that we shot, which was about 2 weeks later, we were actually in a green screen studio in Hong Kong. This is a soundstage where the entire building is green inside, up to the ceiling, and in that soundstage they built a full-size replica of the top of this Macau Eiffel Tower. It was actually really amazing. I'm sure that the cost to make something this big was a big chunk of the budget, but they definitely used it a lot. The scenes I filmed here were of Eason about to do a dangerous stunt where he's swinging down a zip line from the top of this Eiffel Tower. By having this replica in the studio, they could shoot us acting on the platform from outside of the tower without having to suspend cameras and a cameraman hundreds of feet up in the air. Also, since it was indoors, they could record our actual dialogue much better than if we were out in a noisy tower hundreds of feet up in the air with all the wind and whatnot. By the way, this is what the studios look like without the giant set in them. This is the one next door that was just being used as a parking lot, so you get an idea of the scale. They actually only built about 3/4 of the platform itself, enough to film directly from the front or directly from the side or from the corner, but they never needed to shoot the whole thing. In addition to our scene, they did some fight scenes up there and the same thing. They could just use 2 of the 4 sides and that was enough. Besides the size of this set, the other thing that really impressed me was the amazing detail they put in. So they had the elevator doors and the signage in Portuguese and the railings and the safety fence, etc. So it looks exactly like the one that you would find in Macau. It's only when you look really closely can you actually see that for example, the rivets on the beams were really just pieces of wood glued onto the surface that were painted to match and look like a piece of steel. Even the floor indicator in the elevator lit up, which was pretty cool. I noticed that one elevator had the car in there and the other one was just an empty shaft. So I'm sure there's some scene where when they exit the elevator they had to have the doors open and closed, and the other one was basically on a lower floor, so all they had to make was an empty hollow elevator shaft. If you actually look closely, you can see that the elevator cables were really just black rubber hoses and there was some black plastic on the floor to make the lighting look more realistic. This creepy thing was the dummy that they used to test out the stunt before Eason tried it, and of course it falls just like on Mythbusters.
Small crash test dummies, friends and family of Buster may find the following pictures disturbing.
Oh! My next day shooting was at a different studio on a different soundstage. This set was some kind of futuristic layer that was supposed to be in the film that we were visiting the set for. These scenes actually included the female lead, Li Yitong, in the movie, which was a nice break because up to now all my scenes had been with dudes and it was a real sausage party. Here's a quick look around the set. Again, it's pretty impressive looking. They did a lot of attention to details, a lot of cool design, but it was also funny to see how they managed to make things like these high-tech touch panels on the wall actually work. Yes, that's right, it's just a cheap tablet stuck on the wall on the back and then held in place with tape. That's the magic of making movies. As long as it looks real, that's good enough. They also had these awesome giant golden figures that were designed by Hong Kong artist ProDip. They're about 8 feet tall and actually made out of fiberglass that's then coated in gold paint. But they're pretty cool. I totally wanted to take one home, but I don't think my wife would like it too much. The days on the set were fun, but they were also really long, like 12-hour days. Looking forward to wrapping up today. I'm very tired, as you can see from yesterday. We were here for pretty much 12 hours. And a lot of the times I actually needed to be in the scene, but I was in the background. But that meant I had to actually stay in the costume, keep my tie tight and all that, and that kind of sucked. And then once in a while I actually had to act in the scene and be in the front. And as I mentioned in my other video, acting is hard, or at least not as easy as it looks. For me, it wasn't the line so much, it was the emoting on demand. You had to look really angry all of a sudden, be super excited, and then also very sad. All on demand. And it's not just me in front of the camera here by myself where I am right now, but in front of like 50 people or 100 people, and there's other actors, Eason Chan standing right there, and if you he's going to get annoyed at you. So there's actually a lot of pressure, and it really is unnatural. And on top of that, because this is a comedy, you can't just act. You have to overact. You know, if you ever watch Seinfeld, there's these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Boy, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Pretzels are making me thirsty.
These pretzels are making me thirsty!
These pretzels are making me thirsty!
These pretzels are making me thirsty. So that's just an example. Like, it's a sitcom, but that's actually really the truth. Acting can be difficult. And at least for a Hong Kong comedy, it's not just acting, it's like over-the-top, emoting, you know, silly acting. So that was a whole extra challenge on top of the rest of it. I did have one scene where I actually had to cry on camera too. So this day, my cameraman was played by Andrew Das, and we were both supposed to be so moved by this amazing emotional performance by the character of actress Lee Hong that we were moved to tears, and we got so emotional we ran up and we were congratulating on her awesome acting. And so the question is, how do you start, you know, having tears stream down your face? Well, of course, there's a movie magic solution for that, and it turns out, unluckily for us, the solution is put loads of eye drops in your eyes right before they say action, and literally that's what they did. And the funny thing is, after the second or third take, they don't have to put any more eye drops in because your eyes are actually literally like watering uncontrollably. So at least in that scene, I'm actually not even acting. My eyes really were overflowing with tears in pain and grief. Just finished probably my hardest dialogue. Got it in 2 takes. We actually had to film it several times from different angles. But for the part showing my face, I actually got it right in the second try. As right as it's going to get. That's not too bad. Okay, that's enough for this chapter. Tune in next time when I share more memories of making movies, Keep Calm and Be a Superstar edition. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you check out Keep Calm and Be a Superstar. If you can watch it in the theater, go check it out. If it's on Netflix or Amazon or iTunes, please purchase it. Whatever you do, do not steal this movie. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. And see you next time, and the Silver Spleen will be back soon.